Hey, this is Natasha Nurse, and I am super, super excited to be speaking with the one and only Kim Love Jones. She is an author, speaker, and relationship specialist. She's recognized as an authority on interpersonal relationships as well as personal growth and development. Ms. Jones has directly impacted the lives of many as she fulfills her mission to change the way men and women relate to one another, putting them on the path to a healthier, more meaningful relationships, both personally and professionally. How are you, Kim?
I am blessed. Oh my God, I'm so blessed. I am
Awesome.
so blessed. Thank you so much for having me on Sisters on Fire. I love it. I love what you're doing. I love it. I
Yes.
love it. I looked at some of the interviews and things that you've done so far, and I am so grateful to be on this platform. You're such a blessing, Natasha.
Aw, thank you. Yes, it's been exciting because the play Sisters on Fire was started by Marsha McNair and Councilwoman Anissa Moore, and they wanted to have a production that really focused on the narrative of the Black woman in America, and then really it touches beyond that because the topics they address in the play include everything from poverty to interrelationships between women and men, women and women, and then it's really a production that is for humanity, and so everyone can enjoy it. But we wanted to keep the fire blazing and to have a conversation online where we are focusing on women like yourself who are sisters on fire, who are unapologetically amazing. And so I guess the first question I have for everyone listening is, can you just explain like your story? How did you become a relationship specialist, and what has, I guess, been maybe some of the most meaningful things that you've like learned along the way?
Wow. Wow, that's a big question. Can I tell you? I was probably 7 years old, and my sisters, my two older sisters who are still in the house with me, had boyfriends. They're 10 years older than me. One is
Mhm.
10 and one is 9 years older than me. And even at 7 years old, I, when they used to go out with their little boyfriends and stuff, and they used to get into their little arguments or whatever, I used to say, "That's not nice. That is not nice. That's not how you treat people." So
Mhm.
even as far back as that, I think this person is the person that I've always been. I was predestined to be the person that I am now. And
Mhm.
so a lot of the lessons and a lot of the things that I've gone through in my life are centered around humanity. It's centered around relationships, which is everything. Everywhere we go, every person that we meet, all of that defines, me and what I do, because I think relationships that's everything. That's
Mhm.
everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so, with being a relationship specialist, I guess what would you say are the biggest things that you work on with people in their relationships and getting to a healthier place?
One of the biggest things, well, one of the biggest complaints is that there are not enough good people, men or women out there. Like everybody's already taken. And so one of the things I do is I teach people how to, through my life, through my coaching, I teach people how to have better relationships through analyzing who they are.
Mm.
And so that is what I do, because a lot of times it's not everybody else. If you keep meeting the same type of person,
Mhm.
it's not everybody else all the time. Sometimes you have to reevaluate why or how. Where did you meet this person at? What were you thinking? Where were you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually at the
Mm.
time that you actually met them?
Mhm.
What were you looking for? So though there are a lot of things, a lot of questions that I ask, and a lot of different things, techniques that I use to help, my clients get better, because it's not everybody else. It's really not. A lot of, you are the common denominator in your life. And so
Mhm.
everybody, other than somebody you were born to, like your mom, your sisters, your siblings, brothers, whatever, you are the common denominator for every other relationship you have outside of family.
Mm.
So what then is the problem?
Mhm.
So I ask a lot, and of course, it's an individual response. Different people have different things that they're dealing with, but my goal is to teach them how to be better versions of themselves, how to call into their lives the things that they truly want for themselves. And
Mhm.
so that's really what I do.
Mm.
That's really what I do.
When people when you're trying to identify, say you're working with a client, and kind of like you're saying, like, before we can go outward we have to go inward, right? And
Yeah.
as a coach as well, for the coaching I deal with, primarily it's business strategy and business development. But similarly, right, that question, that inner question of why are you doing this, why do you feel this way, right? That's a why that spans across all sorts of industries. Why
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
think people, I guess, love, it's interesting, right? Like, it seems like it shouldn't be that hard, but yet it is. Why, like, do you think there's like one ultimate reason why sometimes finding love can be so hard for so many people?
Yes, it is because they won't accept people.
Ooh,
Because they won't
interesting.
accept people. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's really what it is. You need to be willing. You need to be willing to accept people for who they are. But
Mm,
before you can get to acceptance, you've got to be clear about what you want so that you don't accept just anything.
gotcha. Very powerful.
Because people are going to be who they are. And what you have to determine before you get into the acceptance part is what would benefit. What is it that you want as a woman, as a man? And I often ask, like, immediately, like, I let people talk, and of course, they tell me what is going on in their lives, and I listen to that. But at the core of all of that, before we need to go in any other direction, I need to know what you want for your life,
Mm,
as a coach. And so then you'll find out very quickly what's acceptable and what's not. So the
mhm,
things that you would entertain before, you will no longer entertain. You just would accept people for where they are. And if they're not where what you need for your life, according to what you have predetermined for yourself, then
mhm,
you will make that judgment call and you will say, I love you, but this is not the direction I want my life to go. I think you're an awesome individual. And when you accept other people for where they are, you almost leave a legacy, if you will, of love. Because it
mhm,
doesn't mean that you have to fit into my sphere of what I think you should be. I love you exactly where you are. I just know that my limitations, my boundaries, the things that I desire for my life, don't fall into into the same. It's not going in the same direction as you are. And it's
mm.
okay for me to love you and not make any demands, if that makes any
Mhm.
sense.
Gotcha. No, absolutely. Okay. I think that's really powerful, and I agree. I think that it's hard. Just the other day, I was saying, people, we're such as a culture, we're so focused on other people and scrutinizing other people's behavior, and yeah, that, like, that commonality of just acceptance, and just accepting people for what they are and who they are. And Maya Angelou, I love one of her quotes. It is, she said, when people show you who they are, believe them,
Believe them.
right?
Yes, yes, yes. I love
And
it. I'm telling you, I love that. I think I posted that on my Facebook wall a couple of weeks ago or something.
yeah, right. And we just,
I
and it's
love
so
it.
simple, but it's like, yes, like, we always are constantly battling what's right in front of us, and it doesn't make any sense. If
Right,
someone is not for you, they're not for you, right? It's like, you can't rationalize something that's not for you. And you can, but
right,
you're going to struggle with it, and it's going to be problematic until you get to a point where you say, okay, this isn't working, right? So it's
right,
interesting. Now, I'd love to
right.
shift gears a little bit and just, as a relationship specialist, as an author, how has your journey been in the work that you're doing as a woman? Do you feel like do you feel like being a woman has helped your business, has hurt your business? Do you feel like you have to explain yourself, not explain yourself more? What has that journey been like?
I don't. Can I? okay, I'm sorry. I have to say this. The requirements. Uh, I posted on my Facebook wall. Here I am referencing that again. A quote by Barack Obama,
Mhm.
and I can't remember the exact quote, but it says that you are the change that the world is looking for. Like
Mhm.
be that change, be
Mhm.
that change, right? And so the key word there would be.
Mhm.
The key word would be, because we are beings. and
Mhm.
and and so and so if I am going to be something, I don't see anything necessarily as a setback for me, if that makes
Mhm.
any sense. Like it's part of the journey to learning, growing, my own personal development. I mean, when I wrote my book, people thought that I had maybe a ghostwriter. No, I wrote every word. I wrote every word, and it was a process to get through, writing out the chapters, what I wanted to name them, what did I want each chapter to even be about, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so and so as I go through, even putting that together, that was such an awesome and incredible experience because I got to see it from a different perspective. I'm not just picking up a book and reading it. I am literally part of this process. And
Mhm.
everything I do or don't do is so beautiful because I'm learning at each phase, each editing phase, and each, I'm like, okay, wow, let me correct that. Okay, yeah, let me rephrase this. And so that's a part of being. You asked the question, what has my journey been like? It has been absolutely amazing.
Mhm.
It has been amazing. Going through the processes, it's one thing, I guess we're all trying to reach a destination
Mhm.
ultimately, but the
Mhm.
journey is where the blood is pumping. It's where, we want to put all of the pieces of the puzzle together, but
Mhm.
putting the puzzle together is the excitement. Once the puzzle is put together, we're off to the next thing.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
Awesome. And you don't feel like your gender or being a person of color has gotten in the way, or you've had certain experiences because of those parts of your identity?
No, I have not. I have. If I'm going to experience it, I have yet to experience it.
Okay,
And
interesting.
I'm not saying that it's not going to come. There's a part of your life whereby, a lot of times we expect, like when I was writing my book, I kept saying, to my family, guys, I gotta finish this book, guys, I gotta finish this book. And while I was working, I was at, my mom, she was in the rehab, and I would take my laptop up because I would stay with her from like 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I would come up there, and then I would sit with my laptop around 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. She would be taking a nap, and I would just sit and I would work. Well, almost everybody around me really didn't know that, for whatever reason, as many times as I said I'm writing a book, nothing became abundantly clear to them until the book was finished. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Mhm.
And so they were like, oh, I guess you were writing a book, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So because nobody understands the value of or your words more than you do, or what you're trying to do better than you do. And
Mhm.
sometimes you can tell people, you can scream it from the mountaintops, this is who I am, this is what I have to offer, and people just don't. They either don't get it or they don't want to get it. So
Mhm.
one of my challenges as a woman, one of my challenges as a person, as a human being, is to help people to understand that there are answers to the questions. It's I am who I am to be a blessing to you.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
so that's been, and even among my friends and my family, and Facebook, people who really know me on Facebook, it's very difficult to get them to know, because they just see me as I used to be. That's one of my challenges. They
Interesting.
remember me when I was in junior high school and elementary school, and they remember that. They
Mm.
remember that. And so that's a challenge. That's the challenge I have.
Interesting. And would you, so what, and that's a great point, and I think a lot of people can relate to that, there's certain people in your life that are resound to always seeing you as, the girl down the block, the girl they knew in high school, the girl who did this, but what if you make that change, right? Because ultimately
Yeah.
most people have many skins that they shed, and
Yes.
that's what it's about, right? It's about evolution. That's the whole point of why we're
Yes.
here. And
Yes.
so how have you handled that challenge then in your career and trying to get people to understand who Kim Love Jones is today?
Well, to be honest, Natasha, that's
Mhm.
none of my business.
Okay.
That is none of my business. I don't, the only person that I can control is me.
Mm-hmm.
And how you receive me, whether or not you love me or you hate me, none of that is none of my business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to embrace you even if you do despise me. I'm still going to love you. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still going to love you. Because it doesn't have anything to do with me. And
I agree.
so, right. And so, even with those challenges, sometimes I would find myself initially being a little frustrated. I'm like, they don't support me. But
Mm-hmm.
then I had to realize that they're not who I'm called to be of assistance to either. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? There's a vast world out there. I mean, vast. I can
Mm-hmm.
only imagine, like, standing up or reaching 1 million or 2 million people,
Mm-hmm.
and having those 2 million people watch my my broadcast or watch the shows that I'm on, the Nina Monique show, or reaching, people to that magnitude. That's who I'm trying to reach.
Absolutely. I totally
Yeah.
agree. I say that all the time that, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you control what you think, you control what you say, you control what you do, and everyone else has the right to do the same for themselves. But, as long as you're in, as long, and again, another Maya Angelou quote, I think she says success is like liking who you are, liking what you do, and liking how you feel when you do it, right? And so, you have to define your success based on what you want and how you're feeling and what's going on in your universe. And yeah, you can't really get caught up with other people, but it is interesting. It's interesting to see who supports you, who doesn't support you. It's interesting to see how people receive you, how they don't receive you. But yeah, you have to control what you're doing and not necessarily focus on how it's being received. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Interesting.
Because you
Okay.
can literally wear yourself out, um, trying to control or trying to get people to, look over here. It's me. I don't have any interest in that. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have any interest in that. I'm just going to keep, Natasha, just like you're doing right now, Sisters on Fire. I have to tell you this. It's amazing how we meet different people, but the fact that I met you has really, truly been such a blessing in my life. And all we were doing, we just happened to be at the same function. And
Mm-hmm.
so your light, who you are, the beautiful spirit that you have, automatically will connect with people, and you will help those people, as you have already,
Mm-hmm.
become even better just because you're being you. So your light is always and forever shining. And
Mm-hmm.
because you're a light, because your energy precedes you, who you are, one
Mm-hmm.
of the things you draw more people to that light. And
Oh,
everybody will not be interested in your light. There'll be some, because light draws all kinds of things to it.
mm-hmm.
But because you are who you are, the only thing you're responsible for is to continue to let your light shine.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. Thank you. Now, and
And
then you're,
because that's my testimony.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So wherever I go, I just want to be an encouragement, a blessing. I want to be supportive of the causes that I see my sisters dealing with. But what you're doing, the platform, everything, the people you've even introduced me to. Like, don't take that lightly. That's because of your light.
Thank you. I try. It's a, it's a blessing, like you're saying, right? Like for me, in my story, at some point, hopefully I can share my full story on the Sisters of Fire platform as well. But, I started as a lawyer and I transitioned to being an entrepreneur. And it was really because I just wanted to literally kind of like what you're saying, just like a big part of who I am and what makes me happy is being an educator, being a connector, being someone who empowers other people. And having that be my business is everything to me.
Yes,
It's my blood, it's everything for me. And so
yes,
and it's amazing. It's amazing when you can see relationships that you start and see where that goes, and helping people flourish into the next version of themselves, and kind of shedding the skin that they didn't need to
yes,
carry anymore, of shame, of doubt, of insecurity, all of that, just like
yes,
releasing that and just being their beautiful true selves in the world. So it's an honor,
yes,
right? And
yes.
I guess I would want to say for everyone listening, uh for in your journey, then I guess what were things that you needed to release and let go of, so that you could fully embrace your career, because you've done other stuff before you were doing what you do now. So what were things that you did to know that you were not just meant to do this, but allowed you to be successful as an author and as a relationship specialist?
Can I tell you that God really knew who I was before He sent me. He knows everything about me. But here's it was a slow walk because I didn't always know. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't always know what I was supposed to do. And I worked at Verizon for 19 years, and probably
Mm-hmm.
somewhere around my um 12th year, I became a shop steward, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was a shop steward and I began to help people. And I was probably going through like one of the worst times of my life. I mean, to be honest with you. And because I was separated from my husband. And so I
Mm-hmm.
was going through all kinds of internal turmoil. But the one place where I was happy was when I went to work and I was helping other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so as I kind of did that, I mean, I was so good at it. Where they used to be arguing across the table, I never did that. I would always get up from the table, have a grievance at, and everybody would be hugging, and I would usually get it settled, and I would help people. And it made me really feel good. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, absolutely incredible. And so because of that, I still didn't know. But as time progressed and my life, I couldn't work anymore. And my whole life started to change. And then when I kept praying, I said, God, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? I do not understand. And for me, it was the turning point because he started to show me you're going to be on platforms, you're going to be doing this. And I was blown away. And at first, to be honest with you, I was fighting it. I said, I can't do that. I
Mm-hmm.
can't do that. That's too big. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was a slow walk. I had been doing this, with unbeknownst to me, I had been doing this, well, now professionally, probably about 13 years,
Mm-hmm.
but I had been doing this almost 20 years now.
Mm.
No title, just doing round robins at my friends' houses where we would all get together, we would read a book and we would have discussions and we would sit around and talk about what bothers us in our community. We had been doing that for years
Mm.
and never thought anything about it.
Mhm.
And so it was a slow walk to get here. And I found my strength and my courage when I finally started accepting that this is definitely who I am called to be. Because
Mhm.
it wasn't anything that I kind of knew, and I kind of fell into it. But it's the thing that brings me the most happiness.
Mm.
I just
Absolutely.
want people to be happy. Yeah, yeah.
I love it. Okay, so it's kind of like it wasn't just one moment, it was a culmination of many moments. But, when you
Yes,
took the time to really sit with your thoughts, you said, okay, well, what makes me happy? What do I want to do? And what am I already doing? And so how do I now go forward with this and be more official? And absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Now, when it comes to, and so you mentioned a little bit about, kind of girlfriends and stuff like that. When it comes to the term sister on fire, how would you define that?
Wow. I would define that as women who are unafraid
Mm-hmm.
to do what it is to build, to start businesses,
Mm-hmm.
to do community work, uh, you know, to be bold enough to do what it is that they were called to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're unapologetic about who they are.
Mm-hmm.
They're just working, and they're being noticed. I would say that they're on fire.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would
Absolutely.
definitely say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who were women in your life that live up to that definition?
Ooh, that's a good question. My mom, my
Mm-hmm.
mom, definitely. Oh God, there are so many. There
Mm-hmm.
are so many. Um, my sisters who are teachers, like my girlfriends who are teachers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I do is what I do, but I appreciate all that my sisters, like going into the classroom in elementary, junior high, high school, and helping children to become a better version of themselves. The ones that are in the trenches that nobody, kind of calls out and says anything about, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The everyday ordinary people who are addressing their passions, their desires. So I have so many amazing and incredible women in my life that helped to in small ways. They put stones before me,
Mm-hmm.
and until it built like something that I can literally walk on.
Mm-hmm.
They did that, but just by watching them be who they were, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like they've helped me so much in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. And for women who are listening and men listening, what were the like key things that you did to make sure that you were surrounded by these women who were on fire, that they were powerful for change agents who helped you be even more successful, even more on fire?
Mm. I spend a lot of time with them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I call them on the phone. I have my regular friends, and I don't mean regular because they all mean so much to me, but I have my set of friends that I grew up with, right? 30 and 40-year relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I have women who are entrepreneurs, women who are doing things in the community and so on and so forth. So I
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of different women that are around me that encourage me and support me through this process. Like I have one friend who has a internet dating website, right? And she's always doing these little things. And sometimes I just talk to her, and she would tell me things about marketing that would just blow my mind. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, really, you did that? So she was just sharing with me her experience. I was like, I can do that too. And she's like, yeah, you can. And she gives me all the information. So I have a lot of friends that I talk to maybe once a month, and we might burn the phone lines up for an hour. You know what I mean? And the whole time I'm on the phone, I'm writing notes
Mm-hmm.
because they're powerful. And so I hang out, sometimes go out to lunch with, but sometimes just a phone call is all I need to get to the next point and get to the next level.
I
So they
love
encourage me and they love on me like that. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it. Okay. Now I guess just the last question is, for everyone listening and they want to work with you and deal with getting their relationships, right and on track, or maybe they want to speak with you and just learn a little bit more about what you're doing and how they can support you. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you? And then if you have any like announcements or programs or things that you want to announce, definitely share the deets.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me say. I can be reached at Kim Love Jones on Facebook. That is where I am all the time. Or you can reach me at reallovejones.com. That
Mhm.
is my website. You can reach me at reallovejones678@gmail.com for
Mhm.
email. And my phone number is 516-986-7504. And if you'd like to purchase my book, Perfectly Imperfect, The Key Principles to Your Best Relationship Ever,
Mhm.
then you can go on Amazon.com and look for me, Kim Love Jones, and you will find the book. And you will find the book. Yes,
Awesome, awesome,
yes.
awesome. Great. Well, thank you again for being a sister on fire. Thank you for sharing your story and your advice. I think that you shared some really meaningful and helpful tips on how we as people need to view ourselves, how we need to view our potential partners, and what we need to do to be happier, to be healthier, and to be just whole people in this world. Because I mean, if we're not working on that continuously, what are we doing, what are we working on? So thank
Yeah,
you, and
you're
I salute
welcome.
my hat to you. You're awesome.
No, you are. You are awesome. I love you so much. I thank you. I
uh,
thank you so much for this time that you've given me. And I just pray for great success for all of the sisters that are on fire to
mhm,
continue to inspire other sisters who don't think that they're enough. They don't
absolutely.
think that they can make it. They don't think that what they do is valuable or what
Mhm,
they have to bring to the world is valuable. It is this is very, very important that we understand who we are and what we bring to the table. It's very
mhm,
important, you know. So I
absolutely.
thank God for that. I thank God for you and the
uh,
show and everything. You're awesome, Natasha.
Thank you so much. You're so sweet. I love it. Awesome. All right, have a good day. Okay.
Okay, sweetie. Same to you. You be blessed.